Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. So, what does food mean to you? You know, there's a certain kind of magic that happens when a chef understands not just ingredients, but the landscape they come from. In some corners of the world, that connection feels especially alive, where the coastline meets the forest, where seasons speak loudly, and where food becomes a conversation between nature and the person cooking it. Today, we're heading to one of those places. My guest is the chef behind Cafe Beaujolais in Mendocino, California. He's also the author of the book, The New Cafe Beaujolais Cookbook. And the Cafe Beaujolais is a spot known not just for its food, but for the way it reflects the character of its surroundings. Interests me most about his work isn't the menu itself, but the philosophy behind the way he thinks about flavor, the way he approaches simplicity, and the way he lets the local environment guide their creativity or his creativity. We'll talk about his journey, the influences that shaped him, and how a chef finds their voice in a place as distinctive as the Northern California coast. It's a conversation about craft, inspiration, and the quiet stories that make a dish memorable. So settle in, this is going to be a delicious one. But before we get into the interview, you know, Carnevale and Mardi Gras are coming up this week. And I wanted to just tell you the top 10 fascinating facts about Carnevale and also Mardi Gras. They occur on the same day. Carnevale literally means farewell to meat. The word comes from the Latin carne levare, marking the last indulgence before the fasting of Lent. Number 2, Venice is the birthplace of the iconic Carnival mask. From the elegant Balta to the long-nosed Medico della Peste, each mask has a story rooted in history, mystery, and social satire. Number 3, Mardi Gras is older than the United States. French explorers celebrated it in 1699 near present-day New Orleans, long before the city even existed as New Orleans. Number 4, Italian Carnival sweets are irresistible. Chiacchiere, fratelli, castagnole. Every region has its own fried, sugar-dusted treat meant to celebrate abundance before Lent. And you can find a lot of recipes for those sweet treats on my blog at marialiberati.com. Number 5, the colors of Mardi Gras each have a meaning. Purple stands for justice, green stands for faith, and gold for power. Chosen in 1872 and still used today. Number 6, Carnival once allowed Venetians to break social rules. Masks created anonymity, letting nobles and commoners mingle freely in the streets, theaters, and cafes. Number 7, Mardi Gras parades are run by crews, and that's spelled Krews. These social clubs design floats, choose themes, and keep long-standing traditions alive, some dating back over a century. Number 8, Carnival is celebrated all over Italy, not just Venice. Via Reggio has giant satirical floats. They reenact a historic battle of the oranges in Ivrea, and Putignano hosts one of the oldest Carnival festivals in Europe. So that's all in Via Reggio. Number 9, beads weren't always the main Mardi Gras throw. Early crews tossed pastries, coins, and even small trinkets before beads became the signature item. And number 10, both celebrations share the same spirit, joy before reflection. Whether in Italy or Louisiana, Carnival and Mardi Gras are about community, creativity, and savoring life before the quiet season of Lent begins. Stay tuned for my interview with Julian Lopez from Cafe Beaujolais. And my special guest today is Chef Julian Lopez, and he is chef and owner of a wonderful restaurant called Cafe Beaujolais, but also he's the author of a book about Cafe Beaujolais with some really yummy recipes in there. Julian, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
And tell us the title again of the
Uh, the
book.
the book is called The New Cafe Beaujolais Cookbook.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
And so tell everyone where Cafe Beaujolais is located, first of all.
Yeah, so Cafe Beaujolais is about 3.5 hour drive north of San Francisco,
Okay.
along windy roads through vineyards and redwoods.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, you find yourself on the tip of the continent on the Pacific Ocean in a
What?
small town
Uh-huh.
in Mendocino.
Oh, Mendocino. Okay, yes, great. So why is it called the new Cafe Beaujolais cookbook?
Yeah, so we are the fifth owners of the restaurant. It's been here for almost 6 years,
Okay.
and we the second owner, Margaret Fox, was her
Uh-huh.
name. She kind of put the restaurant on the map, and
Oh.
she wrote a number of cookbooks. The first one being the Cafe Beaujolais cookbook, and
Uh-huh.
it made waves. It sold close to 100,000 copies
Oh,
back in the
wow.
late 80s.
Uh-huh.
And people still to this day ask about it and use her recipes. So, as a young chef kind of moving up to the area, I
Right.
took over the helm,
Uh-huh.
ran the restaurant for quite a while. Margaret Fox became a good friend, and
Uh-huh.
one thing led to another, and I created the new Cafe Beaujolais cookbook. So kind of
Great.
like
Yeah.
an extension of the legacy of what she started.
Of what she started. And I understand, I know from researching you, you kind of like do fusion of Mediterranean and Latin cooking. Is that correct?
No Latin cooking on my side. Yeah, so
Okay.
I am kind of traditional French and Italian
Oh,
structured
okay.
cuisine. I trained out there
Okay.
in France and Italy.
Uh-huh.
Brought a lot of techniques back to California with me.
Uh-huh.
And in California, we kind of we have that slogan, California cuisine, which
Right.
basically just means anything that tastes really good that comes fresh out of the garden, and the
Exactly.
ranch or the ocean. So I play with a lot of different flavors,
Uh-huh.
but the structure, the base is French and Italian. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
One of the things I wanted to ask you was what your earliest food memory that shaped the chef you are today. Do you have like an early food memory?
well, yes, I when I was 13, I started making cakes and cheesecakes and kind of was obsessed with the idea of baking, and
Uh-huh.
I think I liked eating the food
Uh-huh.
at the end of it. And my I grew up in a family that we cooked our own meals all the time,
Uh-huh.
and when I started baking, I started selling the product, and I actually kind of started a little business at the age of 13, and my memory with food has always been kind of in like in a not a transactional space, but in a space where I cook and people are happy, and that's my connection with food, is that like it's a vessel to kind of show your love and appreciation of your friends
Exactly.
and
And
family.
so you said you studied the culinary arts in France and Italy, is that correct?
Well, I went to business school.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't go to culinary school, but I worked in restaurants throughout. So I
Oh,
worked in restaurants out there in South
okay.
France at a Michelin star restaurant in
Yes.
the south of France, and in northern Italy as well. I worked at
Mm-hmm.
a Michelin star restaurant in northern Italy. So, you know, I picked up a lot of tips and tricks and skills
Uh-huh.
from those European chefs, and brought them back to California.
To California, exactly. So have you changed the like the menu, the types of offerings that the Beaujolais offers since Margaret Fox owned it? Have
Yeah,
you kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
adapted
So
it to your
Margaret Fox was really focused on on brunch and lunch,
Oh, okay.
and she created like a huge following, cult following for her brunches and lunches, and
Uh-huh.
farm styled, farm centric meals.
Uh-huh.
Where when I came up, I had the skill and the expertise of more of a dinner experience.
Right.
So. Yeah, so I was able to kind of not recreate but extend what she had kind of started.
Hmm.
She hired a chef back in the late 80s who came up. His name was Chris Kump, and
Uh-huh.
he was able to to extend he was able to extend the restaurant into the evening time.
Oh,
So we have customers that used to come back in those times
uh-huh,
and they come up now. So
uh-huh.
they expect the quality of Cafe Beaujolais to hit the mark that it was back then and
Right.
I was able to extend it to now. So
Oh.
it's kind of neat. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the new Cafe Beaujolais cookbook too. So is it just like, is it not just because there's some wonderful recipes in there? Is it just recipes? Are there any stories in there? What,
Yeah, so the original cookbook written by Margaret was a more it was a advertisement for for the county of Mendocino and the coast.
okay.
She wanted to get people up to the coast and allow them to experience it. So she had loads of stories of locals and the experience of living here, and it
Uh-huh.
was more of a story. So I kind of extended that, and I have highlights from a lot of the purveyors that I have, that people that own farms out here,
Uh-huh.
fishermen, coffee roasters, wineries,
Uh-huh.
and I highlight a lot of those and expose the great culture that we have up here in California, in Northern California.
Uh-huh.
So the book has loads of those really unique stories, where these farmers are my friends outside of, work, and
Uh-huh.
they grow the food that goes on the plate. So it's really neat. And then yeah, we have close to 100 different recipes,
Yes.
all of which you can find at the restaurant if
Uh-huh. Oh,
you're
wow.
a patron here.
Yes.
We have three different facilities on property. I have a coffee shop that's
Uh-huh.
it goes by the name of the Waiting Room, and that's a project that we started about 6 years ago. It's really
Uh-huh.
fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Loads of amazing coffee and pastries that we make in house. And
Uh-huh.
then we go down to the garden, where we have the pizzeria, and it's called the Brickery Pizza.
Uh-huh.
Really, really delicious pizzas that come out of a old bread oven that was
Uh-huh.
built back in the 80s. And in the cookbook, I highlighted a number of the recipes from the uh, from the pizza oven. So if you're a guest here, you're able to enjoy pizzas down in the garden,
Mhm.
and then we bring it back up to the dining room, fine dining, and those recipes as well are highlighted in the cookbook.
Oh, so
So
you have like actually three different types of restaurants there
yeah,
on
yeah,
location.
all on one property, but three different outlets
Uh-huh.
for whatever you might desire.
Whatever you want. Yeah, that's interesting. So what it sounds like you get a lot of farm to table stuff then in California, right? Where
Yeah,
that's what you use.
yeah, we have a plethora of you know suppliers and farmers that are really passionate about what they do, and
Uh-huh.
we live in a very temperate climate, so they're able to
Yeah.
grow a lot of different styles of food,
Uh-huh.
and we use those at the restaurant. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. What is
Mhm.
there one ingredient you're like really do you love working with? One specific ingredient that you kind of get excited about working with?
Well, as a chef, I mean, every year is a little different because the produce, every year food tastes a little bit different. So,
Uh-huh.
but the one thing that I really do get excited for is tomato season. It's really hard not to get excited
Oh,
when
yeah.
it's summertime and we have just a plethora of tomatoes popping out of all the farmers that we have here. And like I said, each year the tomatoes taste a little bit different.
Uh-huh.
And then the timing. So early tomatoes taste different than the late season
Late
tomatoes.
tomatoes.
And yeah,
Uh-huh.
so love doing that. Right now we're not in tomato season. Right now we're doing a lot of leafy greens and root
Uh-huh.
vegetables.
Uh-huh.
Uh, growing, everything kind of slows down a little bit in the wintertime. So
Is there any special dish for Valentine's Day? Because we're coming up to Valentine's Day, so I have to ask any special
yeah.
dish you
Well,
do have at
right
Cafe
now
Beaujolais?
it's crab season.
Oh, okay.
So we have wonderful Dungeness crab this year. Very
Oh, wow.
sweet,
Uh-huh.
nice, filled shells. So
Uh-huh.
I do a crab cake recipe, which is
Oh,
actually in the cookbook.
uh-huh.
And I do a crab toast recipe, and it's not your normal crab cake or crab toast. I use I'm inspired by Vietnamese flavors. I've been to
Uh-huh.
Vietnam about 6 times, bring a lot of flavors back,
Oh,
and
wow.
put it on the menu.
Uh-huh.
With those Italian and French roots, I'm able to kind of expand my culinary palate. So
Yeah.
I in the cookbook there's a number of Vietnamese recipes, and the crab cakes are one of them. So
Uh-huh.
I reduce coconut milk down to a thick state that kind of acts as a binder for the
Uh-huh.
crab.
Uh-huh.
And then, fold in fish sauce, lime, lots of fresh herbs and chili and ginger
Uh-huh.
and garlic,
Uh-huh.
uh, and make those into little cakes, and local Mendocino Dungeness crab cakes are on the menu. So that's one of the
Wow.
specials that we have for Valentine's Day
Valentine's
this
Day.
year.
That sounds really delicious.
Oh, really, really
So
yummy.
we're almost out of time, but I want to first, well, I wanted to ask you, what's next for you? Anything like up and coming? Not
Well,
that you've done and so much, you're doing so much already,
Yeah,
but
we have a lot going on here. We're
yeah.
probably going to continue to focus and better the cafe. It's really a labor of love here,
Uh-huh.
and the cookbook's been great. It's been a huge 2.5 years of my life,
Wow.
but we're going to stay here and make sure that we give every single customer the best experience that they possibly can when they come to visit Mendocino.
Exactly. And tell people where they can get, well, Cafe Beaujolais, so is in Mendocino, but where people can pick up a copy of the book.
Yeah, pick up the copy of the book. Go to our website. We have a shop where you can buy some of the stuff that we make here as well,
Uh-huh.
jams and t-shirts, and granola, hot
Uh-huh.
chocolate, lots of little neat sundries that we have for sale. And
Uh-huh.
then you can buy your cookbook there, or on Amazon, or any of the marketplaces.
Anywhere
It's
books,
everywhere.
anywhere books are sold.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Great. Well, that sounds lovely. And wow, hopefully I'll get out to Mendocino one of these days. Everything sounds so good.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. Thank you so much and much success with everything.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us in this episode of the Maria Liberati Show. And as we wrap up today's episode, I'm struck by how beautifully food and traditions mirror each other. Carnevale reminds us to celebrate boldly before the quiet season begins. And our conversation today reminded us that creativity, whether in a kitchen or in a centuries-old festival, is always rooted in passion, place, and a deep respect for craft. Thank you for spending this time with me, and to our guest for sharing his journey and his inspiration. And special thanks go to my producer, Britton Roselle. May the days ahead bring you something delicious, something joyful, and maybe even a little Carnival magic. And happy Valentine's Day also. And I just want to tell you that you can also find me at marialiberati.com. You can find the podcast on our YouTube channel, The Maria Liberati Show. You can also find me on Instagram at Maria Liberati, on Facebook at Chef Maria Liberati, on Pinterest at Maria Liberati, on Vimeo at Maria Liberati, on Twitter or X at Maria Liberati. And you can also find my Gourmand World award-winning book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, at Amazon.com, on Kindle. And on Amazon and Kindle, there are audiobook versions. And The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, Holidays and Special Occasions does have a special chapter on Valentine's Day with menus and stories. So you might want to check out that book. But you can also find the books at barnesandnoble.com and really anywhere online, anywhere books are sold. And until next time, peace, love, and pasta.